Okay, time for another lecture video in philosophy and film. The topic of this lecture is Spider-Man. First appeared in a comic called Amazing Fantasy in 1962. And we want to focus on his origin story and how it relates to existentialism. This origin story is presented in the reading, so I'm not going to go over the thing panel by panel, but just to mention a few things. Now it starts out Peter Parker is what in the time was known as a nerd. He's not a popular kid, but we see foreshadowing there, literal foreshadowing of his becoming Spider-Man. A lot of people know the origin story. He goes to a science exhibit and he is bitten by a radioactive spider. This gives him superhuman abilities. Spider powers. But instead of immediately deciding to fight crime, as often happens in these origin stories, he decides to use his powers for personal gain, to become successful in the world. So he's going to enter a wrestling match. His origin story is told pretty closely to the original comic book version in the 2002 Spider-Man film. But it's not getting the powers that turn Spider-Man into a hero. It's actually a personal tragedy in his life. I'll let you read and possibly watch that. And at the end of the story, there's a famous line that's been repeated in various forms over the years since. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. This ties into our discussion of existentialism, the idea that our choices define us, that we have the responsibility to create ourselves. And perhaps the greater our powers, the greater our talents and skills, the more responsibility we have to others, just like Spider-Man. So that concludes this video lecture for philosophy and film. Cheers.